Awakening with Brahma Kumaris.
Namaskar, and once again a very warm welcome to Awakening with Brahma Kumaris. We've got a taste of feeling peaceful in the last episode, if you remember. Who doesn't want to feel peaceful, happy and loving? Can we have this feeling always in our life? Can we actually travel in this journey and reach out to the aims of life? Can we really find out who am I and why I'm here? These are few questions, these are few things which we really want to know. And through this journey, we'll try to explore who really am I and what is the relationship I have with myself or with God or with the other people around. And to take us through this journey, it's a great privilege to have with us Brahma Kumari, Sister Jayanti, who is the European Director of Brahma Kumaris and also the NGO representative at United Nations, Geneva. A warm welcome, Brahma Kumari, Sister Jayanti.
Om Shanti and Namaskar.
Om Shanti. When we talked about this, another myth is like, talking about spirituality, it should come in the end of life, while you are reaching a level where there's nothing else to think about, then be spiritual. But now we realize that with you as an example and with a lot of things which we are going through today is like it should be an ongoing process.
Well, if you think about it, every human being is a combination of two things, the being and the human. The human is the body, and we know everything about it that there is to know, including the brain. But the being is that inner being, the living being, the spiritual spark of life, the being of light, the soul. And how much do we know about that? In fact, most times we ignore it. And so it's like living life with one leg, because you know only half of the story. You only know about the physical half, and you don't know about the inner being, the spiritual being. And so as a human being, we're crippling ourselves if you're trying to live life without knowing the spirit. And so definitely it's not that when I'm old and grey, that then I start searching. But if I can understand these things at an early age, and the earlier the better, I would say, it means I start living life in a holistic way. Now they use this word holistic a lot.
Yeah.
But the word holism, first of all, starts with me. Am I making myself whole? Am I coming together as a human and a being? And sometimes, of course, what's happened is that we become human doings because we don't know about the being part. So I prove who I am by the things that I do. But the things that I do are going to change from moment to moment.
But now, we want to know the second half, who we really are, We understand the human part, this body, me. I know everything about myself. I feel that, but I don't know about the being part. And we are ready. I think we all are now. We're looking forward to you to take us through this journey of who really am I.
Well, first step is this awareness that there's two aspects that make up the human being. And the being that I am internally, I can't see with these eyes. The things that I can see are only the external expression. But just reflect on this for a minute. All the things that are most important about the inner being are the things that are not visible. My thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my personality, my memory, my conscience. Can you weigh these? Can you measure these? Can you touch these?
No.
So, and yet this is actually what makes me as an individual unique. Because, if you were to describe the external form, this amount of length, this amount of weight, this amount of color of eyes or color of hair or whatever, there could be billions of people that fit that description. But what makes me unique, different to every single other one of those billions, is not these external things, but it's the things that are inside. And the problem has been that the association in our mind about the identity that I have has always been with the body. For example, first definition would be gender. From your cradle, people see you that way and you're told. boy, girl, boy, girl. And yet if you look at the human spirit is the same. And today we know this more and more. Say 20 years ago, we thought that a girl had completely separate feelings to a boy. And I think we've moved away from that understanding. And we now realize that the feelings that are there within the girl child are the same as within the boy child. So our feelings are irrelevant of gender, age. We so much identify with young and middle-aged and old. We identify with it in our mind, but also others see us in that way. But you must have seen how here's a little child, and yet you look into their eyes and there's a wisdom that seems to be eternal. Or you meet an old person and there's a sparkle in their eyes which is like that of a child. And so again, the gender difference is one thing, the age discrimination is another thing, but the spirit is that which is the same in all, the same and yet still unique. It's not so easy to get away from this identification with the body because it's penetrated so deeply within us. But that's what we have to do as the first step. Start becoming aware of this being that I am, the being of light, quite separate from this physical body. I, the inner being, the spiritual being, the eternal being, using this body as an instrument.
Okay, so now the conflict will come. If there are two separate people, there are two separate beings, or like whatever, one human being has two separate, I should say, aspects. One is this body and one is this internal, whoever, because that's again a very, it's not very easy to accept because we have lived all our lives thinking this is what I am, actually. Who is supreme? Because actually, I, this body, or it's very difficult now for me even to say that I, the body, or, I, the internal being.
Okay. Look at our language, and it's not even a question of Hindi and English, but it comes in every vocabulary, every language under the sun. We use this word I, and we use this word my, and it's quite different in their meanings. And when we say my, who is it that's saying my body, or my hand, or my arm, or my leg? It must be something separate that's owning and possessing and claiming that ownership, that this is my hand.
And it remains my hand only.
But who's speaking? Is it the hand that's saying my hand?
No.
It can't be. But is it the body that's speaking and saying my hand? Well, the body, again I say my body. So who is it who's actually speaking? And so you begin to think about this, and you realize that there's actually I, the being within, that is there, which has ownership of this body. And so is saying, this is mine. A word that we use within our language, which gets a little bit confusing, sometimes we say, my soul. Yeah. But who is speaking? Is it the body who's speaking and saying, my soul? And so in fact, I can't say, my soul. I can say, I, the soul. And I, the soul, says, this is my body. And the problems that have come up in our life, the dysfunctionality that's come up, is because we've not understood this very fundamental aspect of human identity.
I understand, because when I say I, the Kanupriya, I, Kanupriya, say this, it means like it is me whom I'm talking about. Similarly, when I say I, the soul, it means that becomes supreme.
Yes.
And when I say, I never say I, the body, actually. I always say I, my body.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
It comes up within our language in different ways, and we get clues of all of these things, but we forget. Or it's like when you have connection with somebody. What is that connection? It isn't a connection of, just I shake your hands or I hold your hands, but it's an inner connection that is there. Or sometimes there's a communication that happens and you don't even need words. And sometimes it happens through the eyes, but sometimes you don't even need to be looking at each other. And there's an energy that's flowing between two people, whether it's a parent and child or partners or friends, whatever the connection may be. But there's an energy that's flowing in which one can pick up what the other one wants to communicate without words, without vision, without touch. And so what's going on? Yes, the body is an instrument for communication, but the point I'm making is that soul can communicate with soul just with thoughts, just with vibrations, just with that energy, without necessarily using the mechanisms of the body that we have. And so who is it that's communicating? It's actually soul communicating with soul. And again, one of the problems that's come is that I forget this. And then instead of real communication happening, I think I am this and you are this. And so we're wearing different clothes. We look quite different. Our hairstyles are different. And so there's a hesitation, reservation. How am I going to communicate with this person?
But how will I feel about it that I am that soul, Like, because I feel the body. This is my identification, This is what I know about it.
Yes.
So how will I feel about it? How should I accept it that I am a soul?
I think for me it was first a question of understanding. Because, in India today, there's wonderful education. And so I'm thinking about my own story and how, because there was a very good education that I received, it meant that it wasn't just memorizing things by heart, but you were taught to think. And so when I came to the path of spirituality, I wasn't going to just set aside my capacity to think and understand things. But the beautiful thing was I was told, think about it. Understand what it is all this is about. And then judge for yourself what is right. And so firstly, let me just understand that this body is an instrument. And it's I, the soul, that is actually deciding what it is to communicate and what it is I want to do through this body. But a strange situation has arisen. It's like having a car and a driver, and the driver is sitting at the wheel of the car, but the driver falls asleep. It happens sometimes, people are so busy, they're so hard at work that then when they go on a long journey, they're exhausted. But that sleepiness comes for even a moment, and there's great danger.
There's chaos, actually.
Well,
You're
it's
letting
an
the car
accident.
take over. Yeah.
Yeah. How can the driver fall asleep for even a moment? He can't. And if he does, there's danger. And this is what's happened. How often is it that I say things that
I don't want to say.
I regret? Or how often is it that I'm seeing stuff and I know that it's polluting my mind,
I'll continue to see.
and I still sit and see it? And so it's like the driver has stopped taking charge of the vehicle. A very simple example. I love ice cream. Now it's going to get hotter and hotter. Everybody's going to enjoy more and more ice cream. But if because of that taste, I just continue to feed myself ice cream, what's going to happen? If I let my tongue dictate, then not only am I going to be quite huge, but also
It's going to create a lot of problems.
it's going to make me feel very unwell. It's not going to make me feel better and better and better. Eat a little bit and you feel great. Eat more and it makes you very unwell, actually. But the tongue doesn't know where to stop. It's the inner being that has to say, I understand. It's now time to stop. And then you can taste the flavor. You can enjoy the taste. Otherwise, just let the tongue take over and there's another accident. It's a simple example. Or where I'm speaking, I want to talk, I want to talk, I want to talk. And there are people who have this habit. But by then, you've lost the interest of the other person and it's not making any sense anymore. But my habit, I'm continuing to talk. And so it's like the driver has stopped taking responsibility for what this vehicle is doing. My eyes, my taste, my words, hearing. I'm listening and I know this is not right. Whether it's a phone call or somebody face to face, it's not good for me to be hearing all this nonsense. But on one side, I know this. On the other side, there's spice there. It's gossip. It's interesting. But we've come to that position where the vehicle has taken hold and the driver has gone to sleep.
Wonderful. I think that really happens. Even if at times I feel it's inertia. We just let go. There is no actually no stoppage.
That's
somewhere.
right. Yeah.
Like it really happens, and then in the end, afterwards, we think about it. Why couldn't I stop? There was nothing. I shouldn't have listened to it, or I shouldn't have spoken that.
I'll give you a simple example. I turn on the television to watch the news, which is important. It's information, sometimes educational. But I forget I have to switch it off. And so it's already 10 o'clock at night, and the next thing that comes on is all this violence and stuff that you see and all the things that happen today. And so I'm going to sleep with all those images, and I wake up and I'm exhausted, and I wonder why. And it's because I've allowed all these images of violence to be imprinted in my awareness. And so during my sleep, it's all of these things that are coming up. And so it's just, as you said, the inertia of making a decision and taking charge and saying, this is it, this is enough. Now I have to take charge of what I'm seeing, I'm saying, I'm doing, I'm eating, everything in my life. But that happens when I come to the awareness of I, the soul, the master of these physical senses. I, the soul, using this as a precious instrument. It's not a denial of the value of the body, but rather it's a recognition of how precious it is. But I, the soul, have to take charge. I am the one who's primary. And then I, the soul, will do the right thing with these hands, will look at things in the right way, see the right things, say the right things, and my life is going to be far more valuable and filled with a greater sense of purpose and being worthwhile, and therefore content and happy than it's ever been before.
Wonderful. And that really looks nice, if we can actually achieve that. But will I be able to differentiate that whether it was my body who took over when I did this action, or it was me, the soul?
Absolutely.
See, it has come now easier for me to say me, the soul, but me, the soul who took over. Will I be able to differentiate?
Absolutely. Moment to moment, step by step. For example, now I, the soul, am communicating with you, and there's a tremendous ease and comfort in our communication. And when there isn't that awareness of what we describe as consciousness of the soul, soul consciousness, then there's hesitation and barriers and difficulties that come in. Or when it's I, the soul, that looks out through these eyes, what am I going to share with you? It's the qualities of the soul. Then there's going to be the love, the respect, the trust. And if I'm not aware of the soul and I'm just looking at you, then maybe I'm watching your clothes, maybe I'm watching...
Yeah, that's what happens. The moment we look out, actually, we look at people, the first thing we look
the
is
external things.
Yeah, how she or he is dressed and how she or he is looking and what he's talking and what she's talking.
And this is why we are so deceived. Judge a person by the clothes they wear and you're in trouble.
But we've been always hearing this, that you should judge the person by their deeds and not by what they look, but then we always forget, actually.
Never mind just how they look, but a person arrives and they arrive in this flash car And immediately there's an impression that you're creating about the personality of that individual, which may be close, maybe it's completely off the mark. Or the other way, somebody arrives in a very simple vehicle, just basic, and instantly there's an image that's created and you connect it with that. And in fact, advertising and television and all of these things in this very, very materialistic, very commercial world have allowed us to hold on to that. Drive this car and you are this person. Not true. I can buy this car and drive this car and it'll never give me confidence. I'll still feel insecure because that's who I am. But you can see how this false illusion has been broadcast and it's been stamped into our consciousness that you are what you wear, you are what you eat, you are the clothes, the house you live in, the street you live in, all of these things, and none of this is true. You are the inner being, and this is your vehicle, and what you do through this vehicle is going to determine your state of being, whether it's happiness and contentment and peace and satisfaction or all the other negative states of feelings. So if within my life I am happy, I am content, I am peaceful, I am feeling everything is worthwhile, beautiful, fine, carry on. But if those things are not quite there, there's other things that come in, that's the signal. I haven't identified who I really am.
But the kind of struggle I'm living in, because life itself looks like a struggle, because each success brings in many more aims, and then I want to reach the other success, the other aim. When I reach there, so it's like it's a continuous process.
But that's the whole story of finding contentment or staying in a constant state of discontent. When I was a child, then I wanted a little toy. When I grew a little bit bigger, I wanted a bigger toy. I wanted a bicycle. When I grew a bit bigger, I wanted a motorbike. And so the toys keep getting bigger and better and more expensive. But they're toys. That's all they are.
No, but I do get them, even if I live with the awareness. Right? I can actually get them. I can enjoy them also.
There's a difference in saying, yes, a vehicle is important and a comfortable vehicle is useful, but I shouldn't be that vehicle. I don't know what happens in India, but certainly in London, I identify with my car so much, not just the image that other people have of me and the vehicle I use, but if there's a little scratch on the car,
oh yeah, it looks like
I
it's
feel
my
so
scratch.
much pain.
No, that's true, because if something happens to my car or
Exactly.
anything which belongs to me, I just can't let go.
So, well, this is the thing, that am I going to let that rule my consciousness? Or am I going to say, well, it's okay. It's only the car. It's not me. Something quite serious that happens
But
everywhere
here,
in the
I
world.
want to ask you another thing is like, but I feel very good about it that I'm so attached. I feel it's a strength I have that I feel so attached to my things. Is it a strength or a weakness?
Oh, it causes a lot of grief.
Yeah.
2 examples. Today I have that vehicle. Tomorrow circumstances and I don't. Am I going to allow all my happiness to go away because I no longer have that house or that vehicle or whatever it is? I remember when I was about 19 and I just started on the path of spirituality, I had a favorite pen and I couldn't find it one day. And my teacher was a very wise person and he said to me, this is exactly why you shouldn't even be keeping an expensive pen, because if your thoughts are connected with that, then when it's lost, you've lost all your peace of mind. Keep a cheap pen, keep a simple pen, and if it disappears, it doesn't matter, there'll be 10 others to take their place. And so getting attached and possessive is a very important lesson to learn, that it's that's causing me pain. To have something and to use it is not the problem, but to be attached to it is the problem.
But I think sometimes we feel that it's our strength, that we are so attached, we are so sensitive. We realize their importance and that is why we can't let them go.
So I think that this is the difference. When I come back to soul consciousness, I realize what are the important values in life. And the materialistic values that I've acquired through the years are actually not that important. They're secondary. The primary values are the qualities of the self, the soul. I was going to give you another example. Here's an accident, maybe a little accident, a big accident. What is it that people are more concerned about? The health and well-being of the passengers, or what's happened to the car?
Oh, the first thing is there's a big fight. Who is responsible for what has happened?
You see?
Yeah.
That shows you exactly what's happened in the world. It's human life that's precious. It's human life that's valuable. It's I, the soul, and you, the soul, that has value. And that is actually life itself. But we've forgotten this. And so our attention has gone focused on all the external things, and that's the problem. And so it's time to come back to the truth, the reality, that it's I, the soul, and yes, this body is very valuable. It's my instrument. How could I do anything without it? But I have to be in charge of it. But also, I have to learn to care for it. Just as the master is responsible for the vehicle can't take care of itself. The master has to select what is the right fuel to put into that vehicle. I am responsible for whatever is the fuel I'm putting in here. I am responsible for keeping this body of mine healthy and well and free from disease and free from the toxins that I keep pouring into it.
Wonderful. I think we got another responsibility today, but that's the most important responsibility which we've all forgotten actually. Thank you so much. And in the coming episodes, we'll try to feel when you said that I am the soul, then how do I feel? How do I feel that I'm the soul? I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, but thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
A lot of our concepts about who am I are going to change. I used to think it's my strength. If I really like something, I'm attached to my things or even my body. Because when I say it's my body, then the answer comes of its own that yes, even if it's my body, there is somebody else who is saying it's my. It means I am someone else. And I, the soul, is what we've come to know. How are we going to experience it? We'll see, we'll find out, we'll experience them in the forthcoming episodes. But if there is a question, if there is something you really want to share with us, you're welcome. You can call us up or you can email your queries.
If you wish to discuss your problem or have a question to ask or want to know your nearest Rajyoga Meditation Center, call us on 099-99-744-555.
Time now to take your leave, but before we go, next episode is going to be really important because we'll try to experience that how I, the soul, act and how I can really feel and continue the feeling the whole day with I, the soul, exist. Till then, have a wonderful and peaceful life. Awakening with Brahma Kumaris will be back. Take care.
Om Shanti Om. I'm a peaceful soul. Om Shanti Om.